Ladies and gentlemen, right now, precious metals are on the main stage. They are the center of attention for several different reasons. Check out some of this news that has come out in the last day or so. U.S. Congressman asks Federal Reserve whether nations are repatriating gold from New York. Washington, D.C., December 14th. As central banks across the globe continue to scoop up gold bullion for their reserves at record rates, U.S. Representative Alex Mooney is asking Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell some pressing questions about gold. What are those questions? We'll dive into them in a second. But check out some of this other stuff. 2023, the dawn of the silver boom. This goes into some very intriguing information and data that is very important to look over. Also, what a day. Gold and silver jumps as Fed quits higher for longer. This came out yesterday as well, and I'm sure if you guys saw silver prices yesterday, you're not surprised. More though, yesterday, silver is not poor man's gold. Keith Neumeyer, one of my favorite silver enthusiasts, so to say, hopped on with Kitco, made a very, very good point on silver isn't just this random metal that just follows gold around. It is not the poor man's gold. Silver has potential beyond gold. But we're not done. December 15th, which is today. Silver forecast, silver looks strong again. Even more news. One day ago, what's driving Coeur Mining Inc.'s surprising 48% stock rally? Well, it has to do with, you guessed it, gold and silver. Even more news. This was today. Silver extends gains as U.S. Treasury yields dip. Chinese demand prospects improve. China is the biggest consumer of silver. We even have more news. Silver price forecasts underpinned by dovish Fed falling yields and the dollar. Silver price is stable. This is an analysis from today, actually, so we could get all the context from what's happening geopolitically, from what's happening within the Federal Reserve, but then we could see the actual charts and what's happening behind the analytical data. But we have even more news, which is different than all of the other, right? This is the thing that I'm showing. I've shown, 8 different articles, but most of them were for completely different reasons. Yes, some of them were from the Federal Reserve and all that, but a lot of them are completely different. And this one is no different. Recent advances in silver nanoparticle research. This is what I was talking about when I say that silver demand will be growing and growing. It's not just from EVs or solar panels, but all these new inventions that also require silver, like the article I covered last week, how AI is also going to push silver demand even higher with these chips that are required. And here's the point. Silver has potential everywhere you look, whether you look at the fundamentals of supply and demand, whether you look at the Federal Reserve and interest rates and anything you look at, even going into 2024 with the election and how much controversy that could cause, or what's really interesting that happened recently, which is the congressman asking Federal Reserve some pressing questions, Chairman Jerome Powell, some pressing questions. A lot's happening. You can see they definitely are on the main stage right now, and if you're subscribed around here, I will cover it all. So with that said, let's jump straight into it. So December 14th, as central banks across the globe continue to scoop up gold bullion for their reserves at record rates, U.S. Rep. Alex Mooney is asking Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell some pressing questions about gold. Gold currently trades at all-time highs in most currencies. Market insiders claim that Germany's Bundesbank is again seeking to repatriate some of its gold vaulted with Federal Reserve Bank of New York. The Fed recently refused to respond to inquiries from the Gold Antitrust Action Committee about whether any foreign gold had been repatriated this year. In 2013, the Bundesbank asked the New York Fed to return 300 tons of its gold, but the bank inexplicably took more than 3 years to fulfill the request. That is insane. Just imagine trying to retrieve your gold, and it took 3 years for them to give it to you. This incident raised the doubts about the status and security of foreign gold vaulted with New York Fed, since Germany's gold had been assumed to be held unencumbered in segregated areas within the Fed's vault. So this week, Rep. Mooney to the Federal Reserve Board Chairman Jerome Powell as follows: I remain interested in the Federal Reserve's activities with respect to the gold market. The gold price, now hitting all-time highs, is in some way a report card on your management of the current system of unbacked Federal Reserve notes and bank credit. That is a perfect example of why I say we determine a country's wealth on how much gold they have, not how many dollars they can print up. Yes, you could argue there's some other reasons, but at the end of the day, this is correct. We determine a country's wealth on how much gold they have. Think about that. Now, apply that same principle to a personal level. Wait, Slayer, you're saying however much money you have in your bank account is irrelevant? We determine that person's wealth on how much gold they have? Yes, if you want to be literal and talk about how it works country to country, then apply that same principle from person to person. So, I am increasingly concerned that actions by the Fed, the U.S. Treasury, and deficit spenders in the Congress have undermined the world's confidence in our currency, making our nation more financially vulnerable, to say nothing of the impact of inflation on our own citizens. Please respond in writing to the following questions no later than January 15th. He gives this guy 1 month. He says, Alex Mooney gives Federal Chair Jerome Powell 1 month. He says, you have to answer these 3 questions in 1 month. You have to. Give us the answers. Just like the congressional complaint earlier this year that the U.S. Mint got from Congress saying, yo, what's happening with Eagles? Why are all these other countries filling their demands, but why can't you guys simply just make enough Eagles for America? What's wrong? That was a funny one. And that's a rabbit hole that is it's on a whole nother level. This is another rabbit hole we could probably go into, especially when you're talking about other countries trying to get their gold from New York. But regardless, let's look at these questions. Has the Federal Reserve or the Federal Reserve Bank of New York repatriated any gold to foreign nations this year? And if so, which countries and how much? Number 2, how much gold is, how much gold is in the Federal Reserve vaulting for foreign nations now, and how does this compare to the amount vaulted at the end of 2022? I don't know how we can honestly answer these questions without a lot of controversy being sparked. 3, does the New York Fed statement of November 9th asserting that the Federal Reserve and U.S. Treasury Department did not intervene in the foreign exchange markets during July through September 2023 quarter to cover the gold market as well? If you guys wanted to see that article, it is the Federal Reserve and U.S. Treasury did not intervene in FX markets during the third quarter. So Robert Mooney's asking Federal Chairman Jerome Powell, is that true? Mooney's question about the Federal Reserve interventions in the gold market echoes concerns raised by some traders and policymakers that the Fed may be surreptitiously managing the gold price. What a word. What a word. So the central bank has disclosed its interventions in many other markets, but it has not admitted to gold interventions. Americans deserve to know more details about the status and use of U.S. gold reserves and all other aspects of government gold activities, particularly as runaway debt and deficits combined with weaponization of the SWIFT payment system threaten the world's confidence in the Federal Reserve note. See, this is almost kind of dangerous that Mooney is exposing this type of information to light, because other countries watching will now have even more validation that America is broke, and we probably don't have anywhere near as much gold as we say we do, and this could backfire. I mean, he's doing his job, but and look, I don't know. I'm throwing out. Don't say, oh, Slayer's Act. I don't know. I'm just speculating. I'm speculating off of data that I've covered as someone who does this as a job for several years now, but it doesn't mean I'm right. I'm just throwing out my opinion, my 2 cents, and you can throw out yours as well in the comment section as long as it's respectful. Just like I would respect you if you threw out your 2 cents, even if I didn't agree. I would say, oh, that's an interesting take, but my opinion is I wouldn't say, oh, you're effing stupid or anything, because look, here's the thing. He's not asking these questions for no reason. There is some doubt, there are some red flags. So it's very, it's not out of the ordinary that he would ask this or have these doubts. So there we go. He says the reasons why. Americans deserve to know more details about the status and use of U.S. gold reserves. At what cost? Since other countries will be looking. But then he goes into a very interesting point, which is a whole other rabbit hole, because this runaway debt and deficits combined with weaponization of the SWIFT payment system threaten the world's confidence in the Federal Reserve note. There we go. This threatens the world's confidence. And now that we have to expose this information, it will even more so validate the world not trusting the dollar. If the information given comes out to be, to not fit the narrative that they are trying to portray, right? And that is I guess that's a very worrying part. This person says, I pray that Alex Mooney continues to put pressure on Federal Reserve regarding those matters. And yeah, see, some of these comments are funny. This guy says whether the Fed has or holds any gold is not important. What is important is how much gold the U.S. government has. Wait, what? Whether or not the Fed has or holds any gold is not important. What is important is how much gold the U.S. government has and holds. Okay. Cool. I don't know if he was being sarcastic or if that was a meme or whatever, but okay. So yeah, that's kind of what's going on here. I'll also mention what happened briefly yesterday. This is what happens when the Federal Reserve makes a statement, and that statement pushes into prices from the markets. What are those things that happened? Well, we could jump into it here. Gold and silver prices leapt against a falling U.S. dollar overnight Thursday, more than reclaiming the 2024 marks respectively, after the U.S. Federal Reserve surprised pundits and traders by slashing its dot plot interest rate forecast for 2024. Appending its mantra of higher for longer and lighting a fire under the stock market and bond prices, even as Federal Chairman Jerome Powell repeated the phrase once more. The dollar fell now to a 4-month low on its trade-weighted DXY index. And if you guys don't know, I don't even gotta say this stuff anymore. Because you guys are very, I feel like nowadays my audience is very well educated, but the dollar and silver have a negative correlation. When the dollar index is up, gold and silver is down, and vice versa. So when the dollar is stronger, obviously we're going to see lower silver prices, and when the dollar is weaker, we're going to see higher silver prices, vice versa. But anyways. Last night's moves saw gold move beautifully higher in opposition to a sinking dollar and long-term interest rates reaching $2,040 per troy ounce. We could also go into, we could go a little earlier. We can go into something, let me find it. No. See, there's so much information. This one came out today, so I wanted to cover something else that happened right when all of that hit the fan in the morning. I thought I had one. Is this it? No. Anyways, but yeah, that's what, here we go. No, this is not it. But this is also interesting that came out today. See, this is why you guys got to be subscribed, because you'll never miss a beat with me. You see all these different articles. I always will make sure you guys have every piece of information. It's not like there's going to be some big news going on and I'm just not going to post it. You will always be kept in the loop. Like, for example, this I guarantee a lot of people will not know about, because I specifically found this from an interesting source that I had to, that it's not on just, it's, anyways, you guys get the point. I have several different sources and inside sources to get my information wherever and however I can to make sure you guys in return get to hear it and see it. So yes, make sure you subscribe. I love you guys. I got some deals for you guys. Eagles $4.99 over spot, no minimum. Slayer at milesfranklin.com. We also have junk silver $3 over spot. So great deals. You guys don't want to miss them, especially since it's almost Christmas. And if you guys want to get your package before Christmas for gifts or whatever, Eagles are a perfect gift. Then make sure you order now, because that window is closing, especially since UPS and everything's so backed up during the holidays. Got to order now. Anyways, I'm going to wrap this video up here. Thanks for tuning in. This is Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Actually, later today, probably. Peace.